To set up this story, I want to give you a lot of background, but one little thing here. If I think we were charged with deciding the 10, 15, whatever, most important relationships in math, physics, science, whatever, I believe this would make the list. Force is equal to mass times acceleration. Good? What is that, by the way? You might know? That is Newton's second law of motion. That is Newton's second law of motion. His first law of motion is law of inertia. Body in motion tends to stay in motion. Body resting unless acted upon by an external force. Now, Newton's first law of motion is going to play a part in what we're doing. But the second law of motion is a big part. Force is not a word that is traditionally used in calculus class. Okay, know that. And also know that your teacher here knows that force and acceleration are not the same thing. Okay? They're not, the units are going to be different. However, look at this. Mass is a positive constant. It's not changing. So what does that tell me about force and acceleration? They have to have what? The same sign. S-I-G-N. So if force is positive, acceleration is positive. And vice versa. If one of them's negative, the other will be negative. If one increases, the other one increases. If acceleration doubles, what happens to the force? It doubles. They're not the same thing, and I do know that. But for this discussion, I'm going to use those two words interchangeably. Okay? So please know that going in. So when I say the word force, if you're thinking about calculus, what you're really thinking what? When I say force, you're really thinking what? Acceleration. Which we know is the second derivative of position. The acceleration is the first derivative of velocity. Got it? Everybody get it? All right, that's a little bit of background for the story. Okay, now, here's the story. When I was a youngin', we didn't have something called middle school when I was young. We didn't have something called junior high school. We did have grades, though, by the way. And when I was in about I'm not sure if it was a 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, somewhere in there, this event that I'm going to share with you happened. Along in that period of time, my two cousins and I worked in my uncle's tobacco fields. My dad was the third of 10 kids. My Uncle Everett was number 2. There were 3 boys, 4 girls, 3 boys, I think. 2 of those girls, my dad and Uncle Everett's sisters, also had sons about my age. One of them was named Danny, and one was named Wayne. Okay? My Uncle Everett would come around every Monday morning and pick the 3 of us up at our houses, take us out to his little farm in southeast Georgia, in Pierce County, and would work on his little farm all week. And then Saturday evening, he would take us back to the house, our houses. And then we would spend Saturday night there and go to church with our families, whatever, on Sunday. And then Monday morning, we'd start the process again. It seemed like we did that for all 32 weeks of the summer. And it seemed like we did that for all 15 years while I was about 12 through 15. This seemed like a long time. And it was a big part of my life. Well, let me show you what happened here and give you a little bit of a visual. Here is the little farmhouse where Uncle Everett and his wife Aunt Lucy lived. And it was on like a little lane. To say it is a dirt road is not doing justice to dirt roads. So this was a little lane, had a porch on it. Okay, down here is the barn. This is where Uncle Everett kept his tractor and all his farm equipment. Okay, there was a dirt road, however, a surefire dirt road that was perpendicular to this lane. Okay, way down here at the end of this lane is like a big old ditch, like a big old ravine. Okay, and it's down in southeast Georgia. It's real flat, so when it rained, just about all the water ended up in that ditch somehow, that drainage ditch, that ravine. All right, we would what we would do is get up early in the morning, work like crazy all morning, and then what was the tradition in southeast Georgia was after we got to be about 12 o'clock or so, you would quit and go to the house and eat what we called in those days dinner. Now we finally really got sophisticated, and now we called that meal lunch. But when I was a youngin', that meal, that big wonderful lunch, ooh, it was good. It was called dinner, and then in the afternoon, later on, right before dark, we had another meal. It was called supper. And now, like I say, I really got some sophistication. And I know now it's like breakfast, and think about it, lunch, and then dinner. Okay, so we had worked all morning. We had got home. We ate a big dinner, and another really good tradition, which would have come in handy today, is after you eat that big old dinner, all the men folks would take a nap. Really like that part. All right, I was really good at that. Well, anyway, so we had done that, and then we were sort of, when this event took place, we had gotten up from our nap, and I remember Wayne and Danny were just horsing around on the porch of the house. And I can't remember exactly what I was doing, but I just happened to be standing right there at the corner of this dirt road and this lane. I was standing there after the nap. And the best I remember, I looked at I knew what was going to happen, so I was thinking about how I could get ahead of the energy crisis that was coming, and I was going to try to come up with a solution to that. And then also, I can't remember if I was thinking about that, or I was also thinking, if we could figure out a way, and I almost figured it out, take our telephones back. This is like 1967, 68. If I could take that telephone and figure out a way to make it like really small, and like we could put it in our pockets and take it all over, and it wouldn't have to be hung on the wall, whatever. Oh, I can make a lot of money. Back in I didn't quite get it. Anyway, I was standing here contemplating all that. I was about, 12, 13 years old. All right, so what happened was, Uncle Everett got up. He went to the barn, connected his tobacco trailer, to his tractor, and he was going to take it to the tobacco. Now, if it had been just a few years before that, it would have been a sled instead of a trailer. But it got some money together, got a trailer, and it ran pretty good. So what happened was he got it hooked up to his tractor. And Uncle Everett had been driving tractors all his life since he could drive the wheels off of a tractor. He could drive it like he stole it. and he was driving here. He was really going pretty fast, and he made this right-hand turn because he's going to take that trailer down here to where the tobacco patch was, because we were getting ready to crop tobacco that afternoon. So he came here. He was really, as I said, really going fast with that tractor, dragging that trailer, and he made the right-hand turn, and oh my stars, he lost the trailer. It came unhooked from the tractor. He didn't know it. So he was like really going pretty fast. He made this turn, and then he was headed to the back. He had no idea he lost the trailer. I was standing there, and I saw this happening, and I thought, oh, this is a chance finally for me to be the hero. And you know what I did? I jumped out in front of that trailer. And because I just knew, I mean, it had some like really good wheels on it, and they were greased really good. So if I hadn't jumped out in front of that trailer, you know what happened? It would have rolled all the way down here and fallen over the edge down in that ditch and busted all up, and we wouldn't have a trailer to crop the back of that afternoon. So I mean, here's the option. Keith's going to be here. So I jumped out in front of that trailer. Now, I can't remember, 12, 13, maybe in 14 years old. I was a scrawny kid. I grew out of that, as you can tell. And I jumped out in front of it. But I was a little bit of an athlete. That trailer ran me over. But as it ran me over, I was like moving my feet. I was pushing the trailer hard that way, but it was pushing me this way. So I was like moving it. It just rode me back like this. But I kept pushing. I kept pushing that way. Finally got to stop. Got the trailer stopped. Then I decided, oh man, what I need to do is get it back to the barn, because Uncle Everett's going to realize he lost his trailer. He's going to come back and try to find it. And if it's in the barn, it's going to be great. So I kept pushing. I got it stopped. I kept pushing. So I got it going back toward the barn. And, you know, like I was a little scrawny kid, but I was real determined. So I just kept pushing. Plus, this is an opportunity for me to be the hero. So I was pushing. I had it really going pretty fast back toward the barn. Well, my cousin Wayne saw all of this happen. He was sitting there on the porch. Me and Danny were horsing around like they always did. I always did all the work. And Wayne saw it happen, and he said to himself, that sorry, good-for-nothing Kenny, that do-gooder, if he hadn't jumped out in front of that trailer would have rolled down into that ravine and busted all up, and we wouldn't have to crop the back this afternoon. That's what Wayne said to himself. So, guess what he did? He jumped out in front of the trailer. Now, I didn't tell you this part of the story. Wayne and I grew up together. We're like the same age. He's bigger and tougher than me. And there's one thing that is absolutely a fact, and both Wayne and I clearly knew this fact. That was Wayne could whoop me anytime he wanted to. So, as soon as I was pushing, I had the trailer really going fast. I was going to be the hero, but Wayne jumped out in front of it. I realized, Wayne could whoop me, so I quit pushing. I'm a little bit ashamed of that, but I quit pushing, and Wayne started pushing. Now, remember, I had it going pretty fast back this direction. I really had it going back pretty fast. So, Wayne is big and burly, and he's tough and everything, but he's still like a kid. So he was also 12, 13, 14, however long. So guess what happened? When he jumped out in front of that trailer, guess what happened? It ran him over. Now, I was a little bit of an athlete, but Wayne sure enough was an athlete. So as that trailer ran him over, and he was pushing hard this direction, he had to move his feet and stay on his feet. And so the trailer was like running over him, but he was pushing that direction. So it kept pushing, and he finally got it stopped. Now, after he got it stopped, he kept pushing that direction because he knew that if he pushed that direction and came all the way here and fell over into the ditch, we wouldn't have to pick back that afternoon. So that's what happened. He kept pushing all the way over here and down into the ditch. Well, that's not the end of the story. There's one more involved in the story. That's my cousin, Danny. This is, like I say, about 1967, whatever. And Danny was a year or two, I think a year and a half, younger than Wayne and me. And he was pretty smart. He was like a really smart kid. And he saw all this happen. He saw the whole thing happen. He saw Uncle Everett lose the trailer. He saw me jump out in front of the trailer. He saw the trailer running over me while I was pushing it back that way, while I was applying the force that way. He saw me get it stopped. He saw me kept pushing that direction, and where it just kept going back this way. And he saw Wayne jump out there in front of it. He saw the trailer run over Wayne until Wayne got it stopped, and then he kept pushing that direction until it fell over the edge here and busted all up. So what Danny did, as soon as Uncle Everett lost his trailer, as soon as he lost the trailer, and I jumped out in front of him, which all happened with no time lapse, what Danny did was took his iPad and started filming the whole thing. And he recorded like all of the positions, and every time it started, Danny recorded all that stuff. And what he did was put it together for us. He didn't know it at the time, but he put it together for us to use in calculus class. So I just tried to be the hero. Danny turned out to be the hero. All right. So